So let's really sit with this. In The Dark Knight Rises, Bruce Wayne doesn't climb out of the pit in a straight line. He climbs a spiral carved into stone. And that visual choice carries real spiritual weight. Most people imagine growth as a straight path. You set a target, you push harder, you reach the top, and you leave weakness behind. It's a clean progression and a clean victory. And you and I both know that's not how life works. Life rarely unfolds that way. The spiral tells a deeper truth. Human development circles around the same themes again and again. Fear returns, doubt resurfaces, old wounds reappear. The difference each time lies in awareness. Depth increases, and perspective widens. Strength matures. The pit functions as more than a physical prison. It represents Bruce's unconscious, a descent beneath persona, beneath the mask, beneath the legend. At the beginning of the film, Bruce hides inside isolation. Wayne Manor's empty. His body's broken. His identity is fragmented. Batman's retired. Rachel's gone. His purpose is dissolved. And then Bane defeats him, physically. And Bruce falls apart. He literally collapses. And that collapse forces his descent. Ancient myth always contains an underworld journey. Orpheus descends. Dante descends. The hero loses status and certainty and protection. And the underworld strips away the hero's illusion. The pit in The Dark Knight Rises performs that same function. Bruce enters with arrogance, still lingering, his confidence tied to the suit, faith rooted in technology and strategy. The climb fails repeatedly. He has a rope around his waist. Each attempt he's trying to control, but he continues to fail. And then a voice echoes through the chamber. Why do we fall? The question sounds simple, but the meaning runs way deeper. Falling breaks pride. Falling dismantles illusion of invulnerability. Falling exposes your fears. Bruce once conquered fear in childhood by embracing the bat. He believed that lesson completely, but the spiral proves otherwise. Carl Jung described growth as circular movement around the self. A person revisits core wounds across decades, an entire lifetime. Each return offers expanded consciousness. It's the same theme, but a higher octave. The spiral carved into the pit reflects that psychology. Bruce circles upward slowly. Each step brings him closer to the surface. But each failure forces reflection. Not brute force, not even raw willpower, but integration in Bruce. Notice something powerful here. The prisoners tell him the rope holds him back, and without risk, there's no freedom. Without the possibility of death, there will be no true leap. And that rope symbolizes control. Bruce once controlled fear through armor and persona, through Batman, through the myth of Batman. But in the pit, the armor's gone. It vanishes. His persona vanishes. His status vanishes. Only his mortality remains. And the leap demands surrender. Fear must become fuel rather than enemy. The spiral teaches two journeys happening simultaneously. First is inward. Bruce confronts the pain of Rachel's death, the guilt of Harvey Dent, the emptiness after the cowl, the aging body, the loneliness, Gotham's dependency. He once believed Batman defined him, but the pit strips that identity away. The only thing left is Bruce Wayne. The unconscious contains everything rejected, his vulnerability, his grief, his helplessness. The child who fell into the well returns in memory. That child feared bats. That child learned to harness fear. Now the adult must learn something subtler. Fear doesn't disappear. Fear integrates. And now the second journey, outward. After inner reconciliation, the spiral turns vertical. The leap finally succeeds. And he doesn't have a rope. There's no safety net. His body's injured, but his mind is clear. He jumps and reaches the ledge, and the crowd below him chants as he ascends. The spiral transforms from prison into pathway. Ancient cultures carved spirals into stone thousands of years before cinema. There was Celtic art, indigenous rock carvings, Greek temples. The spiral symbolized life cycles, death and rebirth, expansion from center outward. Growth moves through contraction first. Bruce contracts into darkness, but then expands into light. The pit serves as womb and tomb simultaneously, a place where ego dies, a place where new identity forms. Earlier in the film, the line, "Why do we fall?" echoes across all the Batman films. Falling contains instruction. The first fall in childhood introduced fear. The second fall into the pit introduces humility. The spiral ensures Bruce confronts the same lesson on a deeper level. When looking back at personal history, your personal history, patterns often repeat. Relationships echo old dynamics. Career setbacks reflect earlier disappointments. Emotional triggers resurface. That repetition frustrates many people, myself included. The spiral reframes repetition as evolution. Each return to the wound offers opportunity for deeper awareness. Bruce believed heroism required armor and sacrifice, but the pit teaches heroism demands wholeness. Jung called this individuation, bringing conscious and unconscious into alignment, accepting shadow rather than projecting it outward. And Bane functions as that external shadow. He's ruthless, he's driven, and he's merciless. Bane embraces pain as strength. Bruce must confront that shadow internally before defeating it externally. And notice the timing, too. He doesn't climb successfully until he embraces his vulnerability, until he accepts mortality, until he stops clinging to control. That leap becomes an act of faith. Faith in the body, faith in purpose, and faith in unfinished work. When Bruce returns to Gotham, something shifts inside of him. He fights differently. He's not reckless anymore. He's not fueled by rage. He's grounded and present. Bruce Wayne is integrated. Fear remains present, but courage coexists with fear. The spiral's lesson emerges clearly here. Forward motion requires inward descent first. Movies often skip this part. They show training montages, power-ups, quick recoveries. Nolan shows how the pit refuses those shortcuts. Bruce spends months imprisoned. He's healing broken vertebrae. He's listening to stories, watching the light above. The light above never moves. It waits. The spiral reminds viewers that growth does not erase earlier versions of self. The wounded child remains part of Bruce. The grieving lover remains part of Bruce. The vigilante remains part of Bruce. Integration doesn't mean transformation into someone else. It means coherence. Bruce escapes the pit by becoming whole rather than invincible. And that distinction is really important here. Invincibility denies weakness. Wholeness includes weakness. The spiral etched into the stone chamber stands as a quiet teacher throughout the sequence. The camera lingers on curved lines. Sunlight pours through the circular opening above. Shadows follow arcs along the wall. Visual storytelling reinforces the symbol. The climb looks repetitive. Step, slip, and fall. Try again. And then frustration builds. Then one attempt shifts everything. Bruce lets go of the rope. He's fully committed now. The leap stretches across silence. His hands grasp stone, and he pulls himself up. That moment resonates beyond simple plot mechanics. Many people attempt change while holding metaphorical ropes, safety nets, exit strategies, even emotional distance. Transformation often requires surrender of backup plans. Risk catalyzes growth. Bruce does not escape by becoming stronger physically alone. He escapes by aligning fear with purpose. Fear once paralyzed him after Rachel's death. He withdrew from life. He closed Wayne Manor. He disengaged from Gotham. But the pit forces reconnection. Outside the prison, Gotham suffers under Bane's occupation, time ticking toward nuclear destruction. But inside the prison, Bruce faces a nuclear confrontation within. Both clocks are running simultaneously here. When he rises from the pit, the music swells. Crowd chants echo. Hope returns. The spiral transforms from symbol of entrapment into emblem of rebirth. Spiritual traditions describe ascent after descent. Shamans descend into underworld during initiation. Seeds descend into soil before sprouting upward. He carries new understanding, and later he sacrifices the bat over Gotham, a symbolic death, if you will. And he appears in Florence, alive and smiling, and he's free. Another spiral complete. The trilogy begins with a child rising from a well, and it ends with a man rising from a prison. It's the same motif, just higher awareness in The Dark Knight Rises. When examining personal life through the spiral lens, repeated lessons gain meaning, and instead of shame, your perspective grows. Growth involves revisiting fear until fear transforms into wisdom. Bruce Wayne doesn't escape the pit through linear ambition. He escapes through circular integration. He confronts childhood fear again. He confronts adult grief again. He confronts physical limitation again. Each confrontation deepens consciousness. The spiral carved in stone holds ancient memory. Human beings have understood for millennia that life unfolds cyclically. Seasons rotate. Planets orbit. Breath cycles in and out. Human psyche follows a very similar rhythm. There's expansion and contraction. Expansion and contraction. The pit sequence distills that rhythm into cinematic form. No one does it like Nolan. When Bruce reaches the surface, he doesn't roar into triumph. He stands quietly. His breath is steady. His eyes are clear. Integration feels calm, and all the chaos recedes. The spiral whispers a simple truth. Movement forward requires descent inward. Avoidance delays growth. Confrontation liberates. Bruce Wayne rises because he descends fully first, and that pattern applies universally. Fear faced consciously becomes strength. Pain examined honestly becomes wisdom. Shadow acknowledged becomes power. The spiral continues turning throughout life. Each return to a familiar struggle offers new altitude. Bruce climbs in circles, and every circle brings him closer to the light. That symbol lingers long after the credits roll. Growth doesn't resemble a straight ladder. Growth resembles a spiral carved into stone, waiting for courage to begin the climb. What do you think the spiral represents in The Dark Knight Rises? Drop your comments down below. And don't forget to follow, like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives into the greatest movies ever made.